Hey, hey. Ooh, nipple clamps. Nipple clamps on a Friday. What's up, all you crazy kids? I was bored, so I thought, why not? Hello, Nicolina, Queen Ashley, Pontypool with the nipple clamps, Vampire Love, hello. No patience for stupid, Pindar, Libby, hey, Terry. Thank you, thank you. Sister Callie. Mom of two, hello. Truth hurts. Look at all you beautiful people on this fine Friday. It's hot as fuck outside. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. Amy. Hello to all the people in the bushes. Feel free to chat. Just don't be assholes. Hello, Lion Mama. Hello, Lips. Everyone wave to Lips. Me too, Terry. I'm like, geez, is nobody going live today after all the chaos that has ensued? But, I figured I'll do it. We'll just chit chat, maybe plot some abductions or other, like criminal activities. Who knows? Someone came in. Hey, Taste the Rainbow. So, a lot has happened, I feel like I just went on a bad date, had a horrible experience, and I didn't even get dessert. Like, it's been rough all week. People have lost their minds. Hey, lickety split. People are getting bossy. Like, I had someone getting so bossy with me, and I don't respond well to that. But we'll get to that part in a little bit. Because I just have a couple of things I want to talk about, maybe one or two, or five or six. Let's see. First things first. I don't know if Kels is listening, but I know Kels was pretty pissed off at me the other day. So I did text her. I reached out personally. So don't all you freaks say, oh, you should have reached out personally. If you really meant it, I did. I did reach out personally. I talked to her through text. We tried to connect over the phone. It didn't. Timing wouldn't allow it. So she knows I apologize, and I'll apologize again, Kels. I should not have said that about you spending so much time on YouTube. That was rude. There was no reason for it. I was just being a dick. Um, yeah, no excuses. I own my crap. I talked shit. Sorry. It's wrong. I know you love your mother. I know that you are doing the best you can with providing care for her. Another reason I shouldn't have said that is because I was the caregiver for my mom for 3 weeks before she passed away. So I know how stressful and emotional and draining it can be. I get it. So I apologize from the bottom of my heart. I've never had any issues with Kels. So that was just like a really stupid thing to start an issue over. I know she doesn't get along with some people, but it's okay. You don't have to get along with everyone. Hey, Beth. Hey, Libs. And anyone else who snuck in. Okay, so moving on from that. And Kels, I'll still try to give you a call and we can talk. Let's see. Everyone has been worried about where Ernie is. I don't have an answer for that. I'm sure he's just busy. I'm not his gatekeeper or his caretaker. I don't keep tabs on him. Let's see. Moving right along. Lips. Sit down, girl. Go ahead and grab you a chair. Because you're about to get probably the most humane response, probably more than you deserve, than you've gotten from anyone. Because I don't need to go over the fact that you're just garbage. on here. Like, I don't know how you are in your real life, your personal life. I'm not with you. I know that for 4+ years since I've known you on here, there was a reason that I never even spoke one word to you up until I became a part of the Mean Girls chat. And it's because wherever you go, it's like the Tasmanian devil on a bad day. Just rolls through there, destroys a bunch of crap, and then tries to walk away like they had no part in it. And that's just not the case. You created this shitstorm. So whatever story you're out there peddling, I'm going to give you what really happened from my point of view. Like, it's my perspective. We're all going to perceive things differently. We're all going to have our version of how things went down. So just take all that into consideration. But to the best of my recollection, Lips got her ass in a sling, right? Because there was, everybody knows now about a certain relationship that everyone has opinions on. Nobody wanted to talk about that. You know, our little chat didn't want to be responsible for putting that out there. People could have found out on their own organically. That was the plan. Big, bold letters. Don't repeat this. Lips knows. She tried to pull the, well, I didn't know that we weren't supposed to tell anyone. I didn't see it. I didn't scroll up and see it. Now, keep in mind, this is the same chick who has been feverishly spending hours upon hours going back and grabbing screenshots, who stayed glued to that chat like a hawk, gathering screenshots and recordings for the whole 18 months, right? That's her words. Her words. So I don't really lean towards believing that she had no idea. The issue was, is she repeated something that just probably didn't need to be done at that time. And it wasn't anything, you know, crazy. It was just the fact that some people had a relationship going. But she did that because she wanted to start trouble. Because, say, remember, according to her, she has had these underlying issues with Nick and with all of us this entire time, right? It was just a long troll. Just the long troll. Which is funny because yesterday I saw her comment somewhere and she said, pretending isn't my thing. Do what? Yes, Pendar, correct. She did. When she broke the news that she wasn't supposed to tattletale, she said, you didn't hear this from me. When you follow up a statement with, you didn't hear this from me, chances are pretty good that you knew you weren't supposed to be telling it, right? So all she had to do at that point, she could have stuck with the I didn't know, I didn't see it story and followed it up with an apology and left it alone, and it would have been no problem. But she didn't do that. She doesn't like to get reprimanded or feel like she's on the chopping block or have the spotlight on her for any negative reason. So she started this. She started violating people's trust and privacy and, you know, threatening to use people's information and their own personal business to get back at people because she has a bone to pick with Nicolina. Bitch, I have never done a thing to you. I've never argued with you. I've never had any huge disagreements. I've never messed with your real life. I just haven't bothered with you. The other night, she made it seem, when she was on Katie's, she's like scrolling through her messages, seeing what else she could pull up on the spot. And she made the comment, she was like, oh, these are just my messages with chasing. Imagine that. Girl, don't try to play it off like you and I had some big secret message history. The only thing we ever talked about in Messenger was your disdain for Rosie and Mama Bear, and you weren't very fond of Lisa Kay, and you let me know all that crap going on with Crystal's Crime Time. There's no big secrets in our message history. I didn't talk to you like that. And you know damn well that I wasn't sitting here planning some big abduction. Don't try to twist everything to suit you, because in the long run, it's not going to work out for you. And I think it's dirty, dirty, dirty what you did. Not only did you breach the trust of everyone that you claimed to be cool with, the people who had been there for you, which, yes, those were in fact your glasses. If they weren't your glasses, then you lied in the chat when you were talking about needing money for them. You never said they were your child's glasses. You always maintained that they were yours, which is really here nor there. Who cares whose glasses they were? It's just a simple fact that people pulled together and helped you. The same people that you're shitting on now. Um, the very people who, whenever Cora was in the photo contest, I set an alarm so that I could vote for her as many times as I possibly could throughout the day, but I could only do it so much within a certain time frame. Yeah, I did that too. Whenever she wasn't feeling good, or she was really sick and she had that high fever, we all convinced you to take her in. That 103 temperature was not good. We were concerned. So yeah, those are how your friends treated you. And this is what you do. Now, I'm not going to like go out on a limb and say you were like a friend of mine. You were an acquaintance. And this is why. Because you are really showing yourself to be who you really are. And it's sad. It makes me wonder what you're lacking in life, that you have to have this chaotic attention all the time. Especially when it's over silly stuff that can be avoided. None of this has to happen. But now that the ball is rolling, you're real quick to go sit on everyone's panel and point your fingers. And the way you went about it, by alluding to having all this bombshell information from our chat that would show Peachy and Ghost, who called CPS, was a crock of shit. So not only did you screw us over in the process, you screwed them over. If I were them, I'd be pretty pissed at you. And neither one of them liked me, right? That's apparent. And that's okay. But I told them a long time ago during one of my lives that if they want to put forth the effort, then by all means. If they were falsely reported on, I encourage anyone that happens to, handle it how you see fit, but handle it the right way. If you feel like you need to get justice because you were wronged, then do it the right way. Do I think that Lips could have made that phone call? Absolutely. I wouldn't put it past her. Am I saying that she did? No. I'm just saying it's not out of the realm of possibility, because she's done stuff like that before. Yes, no patience. That's the kicker here, is that while she is doing everything she can to try to expose everyone else, she needs to remember that the first person she's exposing is herself. She is saying everything about herself before she ever says a word about anyone else. You let them sit there for a couple of days and think that you could just hand over access to your messenger and they would be able to go through and decipher who would have called, like who made the call. It's not Mad Libs. There was nothing in there that would have led anyone to believe that it was one of us that called, because you know damn well, woman, that we were all sitting there tossing out theories, wondering who it could have been too. I don't know who made the call. I honestly don't. I know that I didn't have anything to do with it. Just like I didn't have anything to do with CPS showing up at your house last Saturday, but you had no problem sitting in that chat at Gypsy's and trying to make it seem like I did. And you just know that's not true, ma'am. Hey, Blues. Hey, L. Kennedy. So now, fast forward a little bit, because there's just been a lot of back and forth, a lot of crap talking and showing this and showing that. The reason for wanting to hand over your messenger wasn't so they could figure out who called on their family. You wanted to do that because in the process of them trying to decipher who it could have been, you were handing over people's information so that they could be doxxed, pictures of children, um, situations that were going on in people's personal lives. That's nobody else's business. And you know that, but you didn't care. So I have no sympathy for what you're going through right now. Now it's just a game of back and forth, and you get what you get because you will forever be like, there's no way you're ever going to live this down. You will always be the untrustworthy, manipulative chick who jacked off a Jeffy doll in front of her child and laughed about it. That will forever go down the history. Now you've got all this other crap started with Lisa and Ernie's brother. When it was you're the one who was messaging people, making it seem like Lisa and Shelby were plotting all this sick stuff and involving your child in it. As the mother, if that was happening, you should have been the one to get to the bottom of it in whatever way necessary. But you didn't do that. Instead, you took what could very well be just an innocent situation and then turning it around like these people were going to kidnap your child and do horrible things. You tried to lead people to believe that. And now everyone's all in an uproar. You got Lisa freaking out. They're saying Shelby could get in all kinds of trouble, which last night I heard a pity party for Shelby. And don't get me wrong, I will agree that being in prison is probably horrible. You are completely plucked out of society. You are isolated. You have very little to call your own. And if anything, it might be like a pencil, a notebook, a razor, and a bag of freaking Cheetos or something. So if he were to get pulled out of his cell to have to go talk to anyone about this situation, it was said that he would lose everything, that they won't hold this stuff for him. And I get that. That would suck, especially if it's found to be a baseless claim and there's nothing that comes of it and there's no wrongdoing. And then you got to go back to a cell and all your crap's gone because they've either taken it away from you. Prime! What's up, buddy? They either take it away from you or other inmates steal it, right? So, yeah, that would suck. But let's not forget that he's a career criminal. And let's not forget that although everyone's theory is he didn't act alone, he is in prison for the death of a man. Now, the funny thing about that is, for those people that say he's completely innocent and he did no wrong, it was a setup and everyone will see eventually, that very well could be. I don't know. But the funny thing about plea bargains is they can be a blessing and a curse. On the one hand, it's great for someone who is charged with a crime because they can do certain things in order to face less time when it comes to sentencing. Maybe even get away with probation or something like that. But sometimes people have to plead to things that maybe they wouldn't normally because the other option is just something so ridiculous that they're kind of backed into a corner. So I don't know. When it comes to his case, I'm still kind of in the middle on it because it has gotten so blown out of proportion and so twisted, and facts have been, pushed aside to make way for uneducated theories or speculation or theories based on emotion, things like that. But Lips, you should have handled that situation before you ever sent that first message to anyone or made the first comment saying, oh my gosh, Lisa told me this and Shelby said that. Before you did any of that, you should have worried about your child. And if you didn't have reason to be concerned, then you had no reason to start messaging people, making it appear like you did. That's the issue I have with it, because now it's just another whole mess that you're going to have to deal with. I know everyone is like pissed off at Nick for calling the prison, but y'all shouldn't be surprised. She is going to make a call. She did it so everyone could see there was nothing sneaky about it. Now, if something like that is going on, if there was something gross behind it, should it not be reported? I see a lot of people that do equally horrible things to others, but then they're just like all aghast and appalled when someone does something. Do I think it's ridiculous that everything has gotten to this point? Absolutely. It sure is. Because the simple fix a long time ago would have been for everyone to just leave each other alone. Which kind of brings me to this next little thing, the bossy person. Okay, I never talk to this person. I rarely comment on anything. Actually, I think I may have like twice. But they shared the video that I uploaded yesterday. If you haven't seen it, it's on my channel. The video, and I'll explain that in a minute, but that video was shared by the bossy person and completely overlooked the context of the video, what the video is about. It was about something completely different, but automatically went on the attack, wanting me to give my opinion about their new target. And they don't like that I'm not giving my opinion or saying how I feel or talking about who I support and who I don't. And I'm not going to. The more you try to push me against the wall and get it out of me, the more my stubborn ass is not going to say a word, because I owe you nothing. I don't have to explain myself to you. I don't even have to talk to you. And if you wouldn't talk to me, it wouldn't even matter. Just stay over there in your little world and I'll stay in mine and everything's fine. I don't have to answer to anyone about how I feel about any situation. If it's something that I want to talk about or I want to let people in on, I will go live and I will do that. So stop being rude. Stop telling me that this is a tree I don't want to bark up. And nobody barking. Nobody's wanting to do anything except you. I don't know why you think you have to try to annihilate people just because of this or just because of that. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, well, this is something serious. This has to do with a PDF. Everybody, all of you, that's all you talk about is everyone's a pedophile. Everyone's this, everyone's that. I have heard the word pedophile and predator more times in the last 6 months than I ever have in my entire life. I hear it at least 20 times a day out of various people's mouth. If they don't like someone, oh my gosh, they're a pedophile. Oh, don't like you, you're a predator. It's insane. And then last night, Katie sat there and said that all we do is pick on people and call them pedophiles. Oh my gosh. Maybe everyone should take a week off and just stay in their respective corners and just listen to themselves. Make a mental note of how many times you yourself accuse someone of being a predator. I've never seen that accusation thrown around so loosely in my life. Hey, Janica, Ash, what's up? But I heard Lisa sitting there saying last night that Shelby could get hurt. But nobody thinks about anyone else getting hurt when people just haphazardly label them a pedophile or a predator. Yes, just today, it was said that all of us are simps or pedophiles. I don't. I think the definition of a simp might have gone a little askew recently, because when you think about it, to simp means to have sympathy for. So everybody simps for somebody. But just because you choose to, even during the bad times, stand by your friend, there's nothing wrong with that. That shouldn't be something that people try to make you feel bad about, because I think that maybe you guys simp for some pretty crappy people too. But you have to deal with that. I don't. I don't have to deal with those people in my life. So simp away. It doesn't affect me. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of my life worrying about it. Just like nobody should sit there and go back and forth with me in the comments after I said I'm not going to talk about it right now. And then to follow that up with a comment that says, I'm tired of giving you attention and talking to you like I'm talking to a child. Either you're going to answer the question or you're not. I told you 3 comments ago, I'm not going to talk about it. So you can take that and turn it into whatever you want to and, deal with it. I hope that me not sharing my opinion doesn't affect your life too much. I really do. Lips is racist as fuck. She sat there. I couldn't believe that she said that the other day on Ernie's panel. It was like the Lips that she pretended to be while she was in our chat. Like, that ship has sailed. That woman doesn't exist. Do I think that she is demon spawn and she is just the worst person in the world? No, I think she is a broken person. I think that she is damaged, and I think that all this nasty shit that she does to people is her way of dealing with it. I think that she needs attention, and this is her way of going about it. She's had problems with everyone she's come in contact with. I don't need your problems to be my problems, Lit. So you just stay in your lane and I'll stay in mine. And quit trying to make up shit about me like I'm some criminal mastermind. You sat there and told Katie that I'm one of the top ones who sits here and plots all this. Bitch, you know that's a lie. Had Katie all calling me sanctimonious. It's not that I'm sanctimonious. It's just that I don't stoop to that level. We all have our personalities in that chat, just like in every group. Everyone has their place and their own personality. I am not that girl. I'm not that chick that cares enough about you or your real life to insert myself into it. Because the funny thing about karma is, yes, karma always comes. But if you have to go out of your way and do something vengeful or vindictive to inflict karma on someone else, or to make that karma suddenly happen, you best believe that because now you have done something dirty, your karma is going to come back tenfold. And I think that that is what Lips is getting a taste of, is her plan backfired. She's probably still over there screenshotting and recording. Fine. Go ahead. Because Lips, we have the screenshots too. And the whole, oh my gosh, they're deleting their Facebooks because they think everything will be hidden. We're not stupid. We didn't just fall off the turnip truck. We know how Facebook works. We just blocked you. It's a shame because I had high hopes for you. I completely put everything I ever thought about you before aside and gave you the benefit of the doubt. And because you had an issue with Nicolina, you're going to take it out on 30 other people who don't deserve it. Or in your mind, we probably deserve it because we're friends with Nicolina, right? That's our evil deed. So one of the funniest stories that has come out of all of this was the kidnapping at Pew Pew Point. Now, I posted the screenshots of the conversation. I posted the recording of the voice clip I made in the chat. What happened is nobody had heard from Ernie that morning. It was kind of presented to us like there was a big issue. He might be in trouble. Everyone was worried. There was nothing in the other chat about what could be going on. No one could get a hold of him. And so I said, well, if he's still anywhere in this area, I don't mind going and picking him up and taking him to a hospital or wherever he needs to go. Now, why did I say hospital? Because it was like 874 degrees outside that day. And being out there in the blazing sun with no water, at that time we were thinking, or we were told that the van had either broken down or they were picking up the van and he was going to be stranded. That was the whole reason for me saying if he needed a ride, I'd go get him. Now, the area I live in has crime, just like everywhere else. It is a normal thing for me to leave my house protected. That's just the world we live in today, right? I encourage that if you are able to carry a weapon where you live, do it. Go get your concealed permit, do what you got to do, and protect yourself. Because the world is an ugly place. Society is just eating each other alive. So by all means, protect yourself, especially if you're a woman who, let's say, maybe meeting someone for the first time, never met him before, or go into an area that you're not very familiar with, or if you're going somewhere at night by yourself, or if you're with a small child. I mean, there's just so many scenarios that one might need a weapon. It doesn't mean that you're going to go do something horrible. But no, you made everyone believe, or tried to make them believe, that I had this whole big plot to show up and harm him. Are you out of your mind? Have you seriously lost your mind, or have you just not gotten enough sleep and been up too many days in a row? Why would you tell people that? Like, I don't understand what your end game was for that. You wanted Ernie to get pissed off and freak out because you're sitting there telling him that me and others were trying to form a plan to go get him and take him to a mental hospital? So your plan of attack was to try to convince him that other people were messing with him as you were actively messing with him. And if you can't understand that, Lips, I will write it in crayon and explain it to you. Yes, Lion Mama. And that's the thing I noticed in that chat. For the last couple of months, I noticed a shift in her behavior. I noticed that she was reading a lot but never interacted. She was actually not very active in the chat at all. And when she was, she would delete stuff immediately. She would tell us something and then she would delete it and she would say something, well, I trust everyone here, but just because of things I've gone through in the past, I feel more comfortable deleting this. No, girl, you're up to something. So yes, I did notice your change in behavior, but I didn't think you were going to go off the deep end like this. Weirdo. So it's not that I'm not as sanctimonious as everyone thought. It's just I really don't mess with people's real lives. And you can believe that or not, but that's just the facts. But then again, Lips is a fucking liar. Now, moving on, I never talk about this dude, but I'm going to mention it in this one instance because it's bugging me. Last night, it was said that Jimbo told Mags that he knew that Nick is the one that made the call. But then when I listened to her tell that to Katie the second time, what she said was Jimbo told her that Nick said she wanted to call or had thought about calling. It was something like that. I don't remember the exact verbiage, but it was not Nicolina told me definitively that she called. And Mag said that Jimbo told her Nick was crying over the interviews. But if he's saying that Nicolina said she had thought about calling, I don't know. It just didn't make sense, the timeline. Like, why would she be crying about interviews that she didn't even know had happened if she was just thinking about calling? I'll go back and listen to it again because I was like doing other stuff at the same time. But it just stood out to me because I never really heard her say that Jimbo told her that Nicolina said, yes, beyond a shadow of a doubt, I made that call. I want to know who made the call at this point because I'm tired of hearing about it. So many people have been blamed for it, and so many horrible things have been said and done to people just because they have their heels dug in that, yes, she's the one that made the call. Yes, that's exactly right, Taste the Rainbow. Jimbo's a liar. Everyone up until this point has said that he's a liar and lies about everything. But when he says something that goes along with what benefits them, then all of a sudden he's trustworthy. That's like believing Lips. That's just as bad as Lips leading them to believe that she had evidence of who called. Can you imagine how much of a letdown that was? To be thinking that you're finally going to get to the bottom of something and then it never happens. And take the fact that it's them out of the equation. I'm talking about any parents in general who have gone through a situation like that. It's traumatic. I'll go ahead and tell you, I've said it before. My reason that I would never ever call CPS on someone unless it was, beyond a shadow of a doubt, serious situation is because when kids are away from their parents, they make contact with the children first. That can be traumatic for kids if they're at school. It can be embarrassing if other kids see someone coming to talk to them. I mean, that's my personal boundary. I can't speak for anyone else. And you know what? Yes, I know people that have made calls like that. But you know what? They can accept the fact that I don't. And I fully understand why people do some of the things they do because of this YouTube shit. Does it make it okay all the time? No. Absolutely not. But when you're doing dirty shit, you have no right whatsoever to point your finger at anyone else and act like they're the worst person on the planet when you have done all the same things in the past. You have supported the same things in the past. That seems to be one that everyone likes to go to is, oh, well, if you're friends with them, then you're supporting it. Okay, well, that goes both ways. Let's see. Texas Twister, I didn't really know her that well in the true crime community. I just knew her to be a troublemaker. I knew all this stuff. Like, I knew when she had a falling out with Benny, what all that was about. But I didn't know that she did that. I'm finding things out now, like when I'm learning about the history of her and Rosie or her and Mama Bear. I don't know all about that. It's insane, though. If anyone ever wants to write a book or something, you've got plenty of freaking material to work with. Beth, that's a good question. And that was what was weird to me. Like, I don't even know for sure if a picture of her child was sent. Was it a picture that she sent? Because she made it kind of seem like Lisa sent the picture. But then another message said that he had heard her voice in the background on a call or something. Yes, I'm sick of hearing about the damn call to Taste the Rainbow. I mean, honestly, if they do find out who made the call, I would just stop bringing it here. I just feel like a lot of these problems could be so avoided. But, that's human nature, right? We're all voyeurs. We all want to see and hear and know. Can't eat corn. I'll never eat a Snickers bar again in my entire life. Thanks. Which is probably a good thing because Snickers are my guilty pleasure and I don't need to eat them. Just because you're friends doesn't mean you agree with everything they say, or do you? Yeah. We all have our own minds. We have our own way of thinking and our own way of doing things. And I'm not afraid for Nicolina to know that I might not necessarily agree with everything she does. You guys seem to be, you have this misconception that we're all scared for our life to disagree with her. Maybe in the past when you've disagreed with her about something, it didn't work out well for you. But so far, we haven't had any issues. Yes, Texas Twister. That's kind of what happened to the true crime community. The line got blurred about just covering cases and trying to solve them. And it's unfortunate that it happened, on the heels of a child's case. It's a child's case that caused this chaos. No patient says she's not being held hostage, which is a lie because I really have her chained up in the trunk of my car. I went and got her at Pew Pew Point this morning. She didn't even know what hit her. Yeah, because Lips did say that she has all the deets on Summer's case. She could solve it. Nobody else can, but she can. And it's been, 4 years? Speaking of true crime, Mr. Bossy Pants said a few days ago, which is kind of funny considering he wants my answer and my opinion about something when he says that nobody listens to me anyway. Not only about this stuff, but nobody wants any health advice from me. Okay. I mean, that would be silly, right? Who's going to take health tips or workout advice from someone who lost 76 pounds in 7 months? Who would do that? That would be insane. crap like that doesn't bother me when you say stuff like that. I don't care if people don't want to listen to me. I don't care if people don't agree with me. It's going to be okay. Yes, I got to tell you, Ash has been like, I've enjoyed having Ash around lately. She pissed me off there for a little while, but, and that's what you got to do sometimes. You got to separate people from, I guess their horde or whatever. You know, like you got to kind of get them away, and then you can really see people how they really are, because it's just a known fact. It's okay, Ash. I was an asshole too, so you live and learn, right? Um, Unfortunately, when you have groups of people, it kind of all becomes one entity. Let's see, what's an example? Who is someone who has taken on like the personalities of everyone else? I've noticed it happening a lot lately. Like they'll start saying the same little catchphrases or start having like the same mannerisms, things like that. There's a few of them out there, but that's what happens when you have a group of people. That's one. I mean, if Lips wants to come chat, I have a few minutes to let her up. I'm sure she's not going to. I'm sure she'll go over to Andrews or something later and just chill out. Life's too short. Quit acting like an asshole and people will stop treating you like one. You do pick up stuff from your friends. It happens when you like hang out with people for an extended period of time. Yeah, Queen Ashley, that's what happens. And if more people would talk about why they're upset and like really get to the bottom of it, then at the end of the day, people would probably see that all these big, huge problems they think they have with everyone isn't really that big to begin with. But when it comes down to like serious accusations and things like that, no, that's not cool. I did agree when I hear people say that someone's eventually going to end up hurt. That's a very true. That, you know, everyone has to be a winner around here. Everyone is up to want to win this prize. What prize are you winning? To be the YouTube superstar? Who cares? When all is said and done, who cares? Do you think people 20 years from now are going to remember that you thought you were the biggest winner on YouTube in 2025? No. Yes, Lion Mama. It was fun back then. It has changed so much over the past 4 years. Now it's getting to the point where it's crossing some lines. Like boundaries are being crossed. I miss the days of just being able to have banter back and forth with each other and laughing about it. But this stuff, the level that it's gotten to is sick. It's sick and it's twisted. And people need to really take a step back and reevaluate, because you've got good people thrown into the mix too that are going along with this stuff, you know, who just mimic and echo everything they hear because it gives them a sense of belonging. I have people that I've never interacted with who are never over here really listening. They don't ever comment on anything, but they say some of the most horrible things because all their friends do. Yes, I do think. Well, I think that is part of some people's human nature. I think there are the few apples in the bunch who just don't like to have fun. and they want to ruin it for everyone else, especially if the fun causes them any sort of discomfort. Then they want to shut it down. And I'm sure that we've all been in a situation like that at least once in our life, where like you're with a group of friends or something and everyone's joking around and picking on people, but you're like the one being singled out. Then you want to shut it down. Bells and whistles, it's okay. It's probably not that exciting. But I'll leave it up. When it came to me on the other side, they don't like the truth. Me and a couple others would call them on the fuck ship. That was never okay. And that is actually, some people have a hard time hearing that they've made a mistake or that they've done something wrong. You know, that's definitely part of human nature too. None of us want to feel like we failed at something. But I think that when you have an honest friendship, relationship, even just within acquaintances, if you can have enough mutual respect for each other to be able to open your mind to constructive criticism. A lot of people don't see it as constructive criticism, though. They see it as an attack. And it's all in presentation. If the person presents it like it's an attack, 9 times out of 10, it's going to go downhill and it's just going to be an even bigger mess. But somewhere along the lines, that's what's happened. Nobody has any respect for each other on any level. And they think they're justified in it. Even though there's people that I can't stand, I still don't go out of my way to be rude or hateful to them, even with lips. This is the first time I've said anything about any of this since it's happened. And I'm not even going in on her the way I wanted to the very first day. Like, even though she doesn't deserve it, I am still treating her with a little tiny bit of respect. It is hard to hear. And that's how I've always felt. If I cross a boundary with someone, if I cut too deep, or if I take it to a level that they're not comfortable with, I want them to tell me. Because I wake up with my mind made up every day that I'm going to grow a little bit and be better than I was the day before. Nick, not all the time. Ah. No, you can't be polite or reasonable with her. We tried that whole time that she was in the Mean Girls. We all thought that, and I know everyone's saying, oh, well, weren't they just saying that she's an excellent mother and this and that? Yes, but I think that a few of us also followed that up with, we've really seen her grow and change over the past 18 months. I know that's been said. I've said it. I've said that I was happy to be able to get to know Lips. I think it was the last live or maybe the one before that. It definitely wasn't the last one because I was pissed at her that one. But it's been one recently where I said that I had gotten to know her and there was a time I didn't like her because of all the crap. So it's not necessarily that we're just going back on the fact that at one time people said she was a bad mother. I think it's pretty safe to say that everyone had that opinion back then, but because we were able to see little improvements and things like that at that time, yes, the things we were seeing, she seemed like a good mom. And I'm not saying that she's a bad mom now. I'm saying that some things have come to light that make me side eye a little bit, and I don't think are cool if it's true. But even with all these messages about all this stuff she does, like trading this and selling that, it's Lips. Is it true or not? Who knows? She knows. Yes, free side. If you send a butterfly drone over here, can you make it a monarch, please? Oh no, not a feces fupa. I'm seriously, last night was the first time I had ever heard about that incident. That was news to me. Oh, and that's another thing, the phone calls with Shelby and all that. You guys have to remember there are days that some of us don't go in the chat for a while. I know around that time period there was like 2 weeks where I wasn't in chat very often because I just had a lot going on. I had some other personal things I was dealing with, and I just didn't want the extra stress of all that. So, the depth of the Shelby and Lisa situation, I was completely unaware of until last night. Yes, Tiny, you have to be that way. Like, I am very self aware and I know when I need a break. I know when stuff is getting to be too much. I know when I am exhausting too much energy onto problems of other people. We can't save everyone, we can't take on everyone's crap. Look at 130 people lurking in the bushes. Hit the damn thumbs up while you're in there. And if anyone would like to donate to this train wreck, it's $ CJ0024. Yes, we don't live in that chat. Sometimes I have to turn my notifications off because it's nonstop. Yep, come in, spam the chat, and leave. I always try to scroll and catch everything, but sometimes it doesn't happen immediately because when I hop in the chat, I just pick up in whatever conversation's going on. I feel like I'm missing something else significant that I wanted to bring up. Let's see. I don't know. I'll probably think of it after I end. So, other than that, what else has been going on? Yes, L. Kennedy. And I have my notifications are set up so that each app has a different tone. And man, between messenger notifications and Discord notifications, it was like I had a symphony. I don't want to. No, wait a minute. Yeah, the whole adoption story was weird. Like, I don't know. That was one of the details that I didn't know if that was an exaggeration, an embellishment. Like, Lisa was freaking out, though. And I will say, sorry, Lisa, I don't really know you, so it's not like I know your character, but it makes me curious as to why it's like so important that nobody hear those calls. And just to clarify, those calls definitely do fall under the Freedom of Information Act. However, just like with any agency, they have discretion. So just keep in mind that there is a possibility that those calls will be released. And to sit there and say that you absolutely cannot get them is crazy because we got all those prison or those jail calls of Ernie's. Maybe they do things a little bit differently in the prison system with calls in Kentucky. But, and I mean, there is a possibility that if anyone's looking into those calls, that they might not be released because it could be an active investigation now. So it's just one of those things where time will tell. But had Lips not started all this shit, none of that would have come out, right? She's the one that started with the show and the recordings and the screenshots. You know, like, look at me. I can tell you all this stuff about everyone. And now, like, she should have known that that meant that things about her were going to be shown too. Like the stuff with the medication and all that. You never, ever put stuff like that in writing if you're guilty of it. Crap. But to each their own, I guess. Oh, the Kohlberger stuff. Yes. Oh, that is going back to true crime. It was said that I should never talk about true crime again, that no one would ever want to come listen to me, or that it's sad that I can't even go live and talk about a missing child because no one would come listen. Newsflash, I never covered children's cases to begin with. Wasn't my thing. My thing was cases that, usually old cases, cold cases, where nobody was ever prosecuted, or it was never investigated properly, or it was never solved. The reason I quit doing true crime has nothing to do with nobody wanted to listen, because I actually had a lot of people listening. It has to do with the fact, one case that I was working on, had a lot of public officials involved in it. And after receiving a whole slew of threatening emails and a lot of hang up phone calls and things like that, I made the decision, for the sake of the safety of my children, to step away from talking about all that crap publicly. I still have contact with the parents and the families of the cases that I covered. So it's not that I still do my thing. I just don't do it in front, because it got pretty crazy there for a while. Of course, Kevin is live. Why don't you run over there and listen? Who cares if Kevin is live? That's another one. Like, I wonder what's going to happen there with that whole Kevin and Ernie situation. Everyone has all these little issues going on amongst the little groups, and they're all starting to kind of bleed over into each other. You got to keep the situation separate. Like, that was the thing with trying to be bossed around into answering a question. Like, my post had nothing to do with the question you wanted me to answer, so I wasn't going to answer it in the comments under my video that had nothing to do with it. And now I'm not going to answer your question just because you tried so hard to make me do it. Sweet and Salty, I think he is okay. I haven't. The only contact I've had with him today is about 5:40 this morning. I accidentally messaged him the letter A. He answered back and said, yo, and I haven't heard from him since. Oh, she's not live? Uh-oh, F around and find out he's not live. Whatever shall we do? That's another one that came in hot, left with his tail between, well, not really. Scratch that. But he came back balls to the, no, he didn't do that either. Well, Kevin just came back in a tizzy, pissed off at the world. And it's funny because all the people, remember when that whole breakup happened and like a few of the mean girls left and everyone got pissed, and it was all because of him. And now you got those people like he's the greatest thing in the world now. And it's just because they want to see what happens with him and Ernie. Like everyone always feels compelled to have to pick a side. I pick my side. How? What? 3 times. Talk about indecisive. But if he ever needs to look at a catalog to pick out a new unit, Lips has a whole selection to choose from. Because that was one thing she used to do to us in the Mean Girls chat. She used to assault us all the time. Assaulted our eyeballs with peen pics. I've seen Ernie's little pecker so many times because Lips posted it in the chat. Like I missed it when it was the slip up during the live. I never saw that. But she made sure that we all saw it. And if someone new came into the chat, that was their initiation. They got a peen pic or a porn pic. I don't know why she had such a collection of these, but she did. And she said it flat out. There's a screenshot of her saying that she needed to add something to her photo album or something. So if there's ever been any pictures of you out there, she's got it. She's got screenshots of pictures that people have shared of like porn bombs as they happen. Mm-hmm. What? Assaulted. Yep. Sweet and salty. Yep. That's weird to me to have like a collection. It should be in your DMs. I don't think Tiny would like that. Yep. One peen is all peens. I mean, is that all these people that are all up in arms about, Nicolina taking a vacation and saying that she was trafficking her child? That's just weird. Do they not think it's equally as weird for a grown ass married woman, a mother, to have a collection of people's appendage pics? She probably does. Like the picture of him in the little underwears. I'm sure she's got that. Yeah, Libby, I was trying to figure that out too. I was like, is this an acronym for something? I don't know. I don't think I have much else to say. Rolodex. In other news, I'm sure Connie needs $7 if anyone would like to donate to him. Or you can donate to me. I'll take $7. Heat seeking moisture missile. I'm going to start using that. Well, it is almost freaking 5 o'clock on a Friday. Everyone stay cool. Enjoy your weekend. Stay out of trouble. all that good stuff. Make sure I didn't miss any comments, unless anyone has anything else they want to talk about. Let's see. Taste the Rainbow, yes. Your comment about this comment. I agree. I've always felt that way. And I started feeling that way after that whole Mandy, whatever her name was, like got so immersed in his case and pulled all that shady stuff. I was like, man, this seems like a mess of a case. It's not a closed case at all. It's just inactive. They're not out there actively investigating or pumping resources into finding the other accomplices. I'm sure that that's frustrating for people who care about him, because they feel like it's not fair that he's in there doing the time for the crime all by himself. And I get that, because I've had a family member who was wild, didn't do anything like that, but just constantly, like fighting and stuff. So no one ever wants to see their family have to go through something like that. But when you take someone's life, or you are complicit in an event that results in the loss of life, and I mean, let's remember there were some horrible things done to him after the fact. I don't know. Like, if someone's in jail for killing someone, I'm not going to cry if they lose their toothbrush or their Cheez-Its because they have to go talk to officials about a brand new accusation, which I'll remind everyone so no one forgets that accusation would have never come to be had Lips not put it out there. Just because she's not responsible for showing the screenshots does not mean she's not responsible for getting the ball rolling. She's the one that made it seem creepy. But I mean, she seems pretty content with her barrage of community posts that just be ready, you're going down too. Well, I guess just let the house of cards fall. I know that my conscience is clear. I wasn't involved in any of that shit. I'm simply a spectator, as most of us are. Lips, you just got to start handling your issues with people instead of playing games. Nobody. I'm calling bullshit on her saying that she never liked anybody, that she's not here to make friends, and it was just a long troll for her. Who in their right mind hangs out with people that they don't like for 18 months? I wouldn't do it. I would not do it. What happened to Skunk? What does it say? Well, I don't know what's going on, Skunk Ape, but I hope it gets better for you. Yeah, why did everyone give Lips a pass when she said that about Queen Ashley? How come someone just randomly lets the hard R out when they're, just having silly banter on a panel, and they're labeled the most racist person in the world, but Lips can get up there because everyone thinks that she has, bombshell information and they're going to get answers. It's okay for her to say something like, I'm sorry, Queen Ashley, I don't even want to say this, but in their mind, it's okay for her to get up on the panel and say, you got that black bitch Ashley. That's just rude. Racist ass. And didn't she say something racist last night too at Andrews? Or maybe I'm thinking of something else. Well, I hope you feel better soon, Skunk. I hate being sick, especially in the summer. Yeah, Freeside, you didn't hear that? I was shocked that she said that because Queen Ashley was always so nice to her. Yeah, she said it. And I think one reason Lips doesn't like all of us is because I've noticed that she doesn't do well with forming relationships with other females. If you watch her pattern, all of her close friends are males. They're all men that she's, having these conversations with, and it's crazy. Yep, like you. I know a lot of people don't like Freeside, but one thing that I respect about Freeside is because I've seen him move through the community, and like, take me and Litz for example. We don't get along, but he's still respectful to me. I haven't seen him disrespect her, but I've seen him do that with everyone. I always have respect for someone when they can do that, when they can stay true to themselves and not get out of character based on who they're around. Yep, not one mean girl left with her. So it wasn't some big, huge exodus or anything. It was that she did something that she shouldn't have done, and it was something so simple that could have been handled that day instead of while we're sitting there actively talking about it, she's reading all the comments but won't respond. And then instead of just saying, yeah, you know what, I'm sorry, I didn't see that you guys didn't want anyone to know right now, so I apologize. And then we could have kept it moving. Well, that's the story of her life, sweet and salty. It's always deny, deny, deny. Yeah, it was crazy how fast she flipped. And there's been, at first I was like, well, maybe she's just having a bad day today, and that's why she's not responding well when we're trying to talk to her about this. But then there's been other days when she was in the chat that she had a bad day, or she was stressed out, or her anxiety was through the roof. And she would tell us, and she would say, I need to just step back for a little bit. I'm having a bad day. Or she would talk to us about it, and we would give her advice. No, she's got to quit acting like she was just treated like, the unwanted stepchild. Because people were good to her. No, Freeside's not crying. Prime was here, but he bailed. I'll yell at him later. All right. Like, I'm tired of listening to myself talk. So I am going to go and take the doggos out for a walk and get my weekend started. Wait for shit to kick off tonight, because it probably will. And we'll just see how the weekend goes, and if anything earth-shattering happens, maybe we'll talk about it next week. Maybe I'll do a fitness live that no one wants to hear. Imagine that. But that's all I got. And I will see all of you out there. Be safe. Keep your head screwed on straight. And good luck, everyone. And don't eat a Snickers. avoid Snickers at all costs. All right, have a good weekend. Love you. Bye.